I'm going to go through a tour of KanBanFlow and I'm feeling super excited about it. I'm assuming that you've already created an account and logged in, and then when you click on administration, it brings you to this screen. Now, I already have 3 existing boards. My hedgehog means those are the things that I do best if you've read the book Good to Great. Then I have personal and family, and I'm working on step launch program details. So those are 3 things, but I want to show you just one way you could create a special board to help you to streamline your projects. So you just click here on Create Board, and I'm just going to call this Step Project Management. Okay, and then you just click Next. Now these are the default columns that they have. It's to do, due today, in progress, and done. Now I actually use these specific columns for management of my hedgehog projects and my personal and family projects, where everything in to do, it's almost like my next in line projects list. And then due today is what I'm working on today. In progress is where I put basically things that are waiting. So if I've done as much as I can, but I'm waiting for someone else, I stick it in there, and then done, obviously, is when we're done. So what I'm going to do is we're just going to make 3 columns, which I think is a really, really simple way to get started with your projects. And I'm going to call this the next in line current projects. Now, the reason why I like this is because so many times we feel like it's either on our current projects list or it's a someday, and that's a black hole and I'll never get to it. And I don't think that's the case. I think we're going to have a lot of projects that we're excited about, but we can't do 100 at the same time or we get stomach aches and we feel stressed. So the first one will be next in line. Then we're going to have our current projects. That will be right there, list. And then I think we don't need this in progress. I think we just need done. I think that would be a really, really simple way to get started. Now, clearly there's lots of other programs. There's lots of ways you can tweak this to match your needs, but I'm showing you one way that would work, and then you're smart. You can come up with something that would work better for you if this one doesn't. Okay, so you press Create Board, and it's going to go ahead and give me all my boards. I'm going to go ahead and go to the Step Project Management board that I just created. All right, so how does this work? Well, let's think about our projects. Let's say right now you're just in brainstorm stage. You don't even know what your current projects are because you feel so overwhelmed. Now, we want to have no more than 7 or 8 projects total, but we're going to do a little bit of brainstorming. So I'm just going to be putting in just some examples of things that could work. So one of them might be that I'm going to outline my book about my mom. Okay, so really simple. Now here's where you can put in dates if there's a deadline. You can put in the subtasks. So if you want to brainstorm all that's going to go into that, then you can go ahead and put those in. You could click subtasks and you can add a bunch of them there. Now what I've found is that when I create my projects, it's helpful for me to almost create the subtasks here. These are multi-step kind of sub-projects. So instead of having something like publish a book, because that's not really something I could ever move to the today column or a current projects column, I've been keeping it really simple, like outline the book for my mom. So while this isn't something I could do in 20 minutes, it's still something that would take a few hours. It's something that's very doable. Now you can pick the colors here, which I think is fun. I haven't done a ton with labels yet, but you can create labels. I do like using the color, however, and this is where I would suggest, if you're going to use this sheet as a next in line current projects list for all projects, whether they're personal or family or more professional volunteer work, I think it'd be helpful to have a color to be able to show which category they are. So for example, this one would be something that's really personal for me. Writing the book about my mom is something I want to do just for me, and it's kind of like my therapy, so I'm going to keep that yellow. And under responsible, what's kind of fun is you can put your own name here if you have a shared board. If you're not sharing it with anyone, you really don't need that. But if you're planning to share the board with somebody, it's helpful to have your name. And I'll show you the little icon that it creates, which I think is cute. Now, you can track your time spent. A lot of times I do like this time estimate because I'm trying to figure out if I'm good at gauging or not. So I might put something like 1 hour. Okay, and then I'm going to save and add more. So this is automatically adding it over here on the left. It puts my picture showing it's delegated to me, and it's all set there. All right, so now let's say I'm going to put a family one together. I'm going to say plan daughter's birthday party. She just turned 16. She's got a party coming up. Now this is for my family. Let's say I'm going to have this one be blue. And I'm the one responsible for this. I mean, again, that might just be tedious, but I think it's kind of fun. And then I'm actually going to be sharing boards with my husband, so that's helpful. Time estimate for that, I would say, 30 minutes or something like that. Now you'll see I'm putting really, really simple projects on here that can easily be put onto a current projects list. Because I'm doing it like this at this pace, I could feasibly go through 45 projects in a month. So that's how I'm choosing to do it. You could make these much bigger projects if you wanted, but still, planning a daughter's birthday party, that's a pretty big project. Now I'm going to go ahead, because this is kind of the next step, I'm just putting in 30 minutes to plan it. Once I complete this, I may need to edit or add a new task that has some additional parts of the party planning, but that's what I'm guessing is that this can help me at least get launched into working on the project. Then I can put errands onto my next actions list. I can put calendared events onto my calendar, things like that. So this is just launching the project into my step system. That makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to save and close that. So that's in blue. And then I'm going to add one that's more professional, just for this example. So let's say I'm going to work with designer on new step information page. It's actually something I'm working on right now. So this, I'm going to make it green for more professional work. Obviously, we're just picking the colors we want. And I think this is actually going to take me about 2 hours to get that done. Okay, save and close. All right, so now I have these 3 projects for me, for my family, and then a color for beyond. And I can continue to brainstorm, and I can make tons and tons and tons of projects, just get it all out of my head. These are all the projects that are kind of next in line. Now, there needs to be some sort of a split between a next in line project and a someday project, because you don't want this column to have 500 projects because you can't even move them around. It's really stressful. But what I think is helpful here is that now, let's say I'm thinking, I'm really excited about this book with my mom, but my daughter's birthday party is happening this Saturday. It needs to go first. You can just click and drag, and then that's now at the top. Now, one of the reasons I love this is because my husband has a tendency to get lots of ideas. He's really creative. He's always coming up with new ideas. And a lot of times he'll say, hey, April, why don't we do this? And I feel like he's just giving me one more project to do. But now what I say is, oh, that sounds like a great idea. Where shall I prioritize it? Look at my list. Where do you think it belongs? Do you think this is more important than the step information page? Do you think this is more important than the birthday party? I mean, where does it belong? And that's been really helpful, because then he can look right at my current projects and he can say, oh yeah, I think that it's not as important as the things you already have. Just go ahead and maybe put it below that, and we'll talk about it later. And that's really helpful. The other thing this is helping me do is be able to prioritize on my own. Obviously, I don't need Eric to tell me if something's important or not. We work together, we collaborate. But when I come up with a new idea, or when I get an email that says, oh, this whole thing is broken with your Amazon link, you need to fix it, I don't always need those things to be my top priority. So what I do is I'll just come here, I'll say, like, for example, the Amazon store link fixed. That's going to take me probably at least an hour, because I've got to get on the phone with an associate. I've got to do some fixing on the technical side. That's going to take some time. And this is going to be green because it's more professional. Save and close. It'll automatically add it to the bottom. Now, I didn't put my little picture there, you can see, but yes, imagine it's there. Okay, so I love that you can just drag and drop, move things around. And then what's fun is the current projects list. Did I totally spell that wrong? That is super embarrassing. Okay, so let's say we do want to edit a board. This might be a good time to talk about that. We're going to go ahead and do our board settings. And I'm going to edit this one right here and change it to current projects list. Super embarrassing. Okay. Actually, this is kind of a fun way to show how the settings of the board are defaulted. You can have it show calendar dates. I don't want to get too into this though, because I don't want you to feel overwhelmed by it. I just want to show you the basics for getting started. All right, we're going back to the task management. Once you have put all of your brainstormed ideas into this next in line current projects list, that's where we get to look at our current projects that we're working on right now. Now, time-wise, if you have a lot of big projects here and you just want to have this be your projects for the month, that's a really easy way to do it. So I would just drag this over and say, okay, I'm going to plan my daughter's party. I'm going to work on outlining my book, and I'm going to work with this designer. Okay, so I just put these in order in place, and I can move those around obviously as needed. And then all of the other projects can be just over here on the left, waiting in line. I don't need to worry about them. They're just there. But what's great about this current projects list is now as I'm doing my weekly planning, I would come right in here to look at my current projects that I'm working on this week. I would identify the next actions. And again, this is where I could come in. I could create subtasks and say something like text her friends, or something like order the food, right? You can have all kinds of different things that you put in there, which makes it really simple. And as far as the dates, repeating, there's lots of options there. I don't worry too much about those right now. But you can have this, see how it's set up in this section to be able to show the subtasks that are involved. So this is a great way where you can have a very specific current projects list with your top projects, maybe 1 to 3 projects you're working on this month, or it could be 7 or 8. And there is no rule that says you have to stop at these projects once you're done with them. You don't want to be working on so many projects that you can't move forward. But let's say I get all these things done and I'm moving forward and I outline my book one morning and I'm getting all this stuff done and I can record how long it takes me if I'd like. Then all I need to do is say, oh, actually, I have maybe more time this month. I can bring this one over now. And then whenever you get a new idea, you just add it over to this next in line current projects list, which is so fun. Isn't that great? Okay, so a couple other things that are kind of fun. They actually have a timer built in here where it says Pomodoro timer that they say 25 minutes is ideal for you. So you could say, all right, right now I'm going to start working on this Amazon store. So you click it and you press start. And I can say, show these notifications for session. Okay, and then now I know I have 24 minutes and 54 seconds to keep working. Now let's say I need to stop the timer. They'll say, well, why did you stop? Did someone interrupt you? Were you browsing? Oh, I got an email I had to go take care of or whatever. You can put that in there. They have logs. They have this whole stopwatch settings. It's pretty fun. And then you can actually look at reports on your statistics. It can show up for you, which is kind of fun. So that's just another little bonus. But the main thing that I want to emphasize is that when you create this next in line current projects list, when you have a really specific way to organize your current projects, and you can easily access this on your phone as well, it helps you to be able to focus on what's here right in the middle. It helps you see the success of what you've written over here on the done side. And then it gives you a place to put everything that's coming in and prioritize it in a way that really works for you. So I hope that this has been helpful, and really am excited for you to be able to organize your projects and feel excited about the things that you're working on.